Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Threadheads. My name is Paula. I am a full-time uh, retail worker by day, and by night I am a content creator. As the title of the series is called for the podcast, it is a Reddit podcast. Um, yeah. As some of you might be wondering, another Reddit reader slash reactor, and I gotta say, yes, because I love listening or reading Reddit stories, and I always say my opinions out loud, and I can't really, hear other people's responses because, there's nobody around me that likes Reddit stories when I say them out loud. I have people who listen to them outside of my little bubble, like people I work with, but I don't like talk to them about them unless I'm like, did you hear this story about this person and going on to this person and this person? And they're just like, what? And I'm just like, yeah, it's crazy. And then I give them the episode or uh, tell them where I watched it, or I send them the link of where I watched it, or the Reddit thing where I watched it. And shout out to my friend Hannah, who's been telling me I needed to just do a podcast of Reddit stories, and she'd listen to it. And so here you go, Hannah. Your wish has come true. Like I said, with all love and respect, I love Dusty Thunder. I love Two Hot Takes. I love Charlotte Dobre. I love Beyond Beautiful. They are my go-to people to listen to Reddit stories. And just like Wednesday afternoons and Sunday nights, I am full on, don't talk to me, don't look at me, I'm watching Dusty. And like Dusty says, everybody has their own thoughts and opinions, so I'm giving you this podcast for mine. And this is a way for me to rant and ramble about things that upset me about Reddit stories, because I'm on Reddit a lot, just reading and reading and reading Reddits. But like, kind of unlike those Reddit readers, I'm adding uh retail uh hell threads and retail thread. So basically, retail hell and retail threads. Tales beyond the front desk and all that. So that's hospitality, and we're also doing K-pop as well. And every now and then I'll throw in writing prompts, where it's going to be an episode all about me reading stories from r/writing prompts, because those just take into another whole account of beyond, you know. Um, so we're gonna take a page out of Dusty's book, and I'm gonna say, please be nice and kind to my YouTube people who are going to be watching on YouTube. Be nice and kind in the comments. No politicalness. If you're just listening on wherever you can listen to podcasts, because I'm going to be putting this wherever podcasts are available. You cannot leave a comment on most podcasts. You can leave one on Spotify, but you can also go to my webpage that I am making for here. I do not own the domain name yet. I need to get some money to save up to buy that domain name. But visit my website at my-site-r19159 cx-paulaversepods.wix-vibes.com. For the YouTube people, I will have that in right here. Paulaverse Pods is one word. It is spelled PaulaVersePods. So Paulaverse Pods, one word. Editing Paula here. I forgot to add trigger warning. In this episode, at the very end, we will be having a sad story that talks about suicide and a mother's grief. So if you don't want to hear that, skip the third to last story. I will put a marker in the YouTube video, and everywhere else I'm pretty sure I can have tags, but if not, when it gets to that story, I will let you know. And also, I curse a lot. I am so sorry if you guys don't like cursing. I have the mouth of a sailor, so sorry, not sorry, at least. I mean, it is a me thing. So, anyways, enjoy the episode, guys. But yeah, so today's docket includes a mom marriage drama, husband not watching their kids, line fights, introvert's nightmare. Ugh, I hate it. I don't like fights at all. I am severely introverted. Don't talk to me while I'm in a line. Some Walmart employee questions for the holidays, because you know the holidays are coming up for Thanksgiving. I hit the mic. I am so sorry, and I keep trying to. We got a retail employee rant, wife confessions, elevator revenge, and pen revenge. 2 separate stories, I promise. Annoying neighbors, fiance spicy drama, a father-in-law relationship hell spiral. You don't see those too often, guys. So, gotta love Reddit. Funny landlord drama, a husband who teaches his wife a lesson, a tearjerker from Two Off My Chest, and to end us out, because of the tearjerker, I have 2 wholesome posts. The tearjerker isn't to get you guys to cry. It is, I found it on True Off My Chest, and it's a sad mother who wants to get her words out. But yeah, just a heads up to my YouTube people. Like I said, I am a full-time retail associate. I cannot afford an editor. I'm a one-woman person over here. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I am so sorry about the editing. But, it's the Paula Flair. And then for the website, not only will you be able to leave comments, I will have links to all the stories for today's episode in the episode docket, saying which stories were which and what time I read them. So you can actually, if you want to, go over to that Reddit story and leave a response to the original OP. So that way, if they don't actually ever see this, you can talk to them and leave them a comment yourself. And without further ado, let us get started. Alright, first story is, am I the asshole for ruining my mom's marriage? My mom blames me for her husband filing for divorce. They got married when I, 17 female, was 10. He wanted kids, but mom couldn't have more, so he decided he would be fine being my dad. Only, I never saw or accepted him as my dad. I had a dad, and he died. But he was still my dad. Same, Well, my dad isn't dead, but... And my mom isn't divorced. But it's one of those... You see a lot of Reddit stories where, the stepdads are just like, I'm your new father. Sorry, nope. Not someone who married my mom when I was 10. We got along okay. It disappointed him whenever I said no to him adopting me, or when I used his first name instead of calling him dad. She set her boundaries. She said, no, I don't want you to adopt me. I have a dad. I mean, he could have asked, okay, I know you have a dad, but can you have a bonus dad? Can you call me stepdad? Can you call me bonus dad? Instead, he was really dead set on her calling her dad. So, yeah. He called me his daughter and I hated it, but never said anything. I think that's kind of where she probably went wrong. She should have probably said something. So he kept calling me his, and I always corrected people calling him my dad. I mean, she'd correct people, so no. He's my mom's husband. Sounds legit. I thought that would tell him nothing was changing on my side. But a few months ago, for school, I did a project for art on my parents, and I did mom and dad. It wasn't supposed to be seen by anyone else, and didn't think it would turn into a breakdown, but my teacher emailed it to mom, and he saw it too. She was saying how talented I was and she thought Mom should encourage my art more. I mean, technically, that's kind of on the art teacher, you know? But seeing that it was like the final straw for him, he told Mom he couldn't live without being a parent and he thought he could be mine. But I've never given him the chance. Because you probably tried forcing it on her. But okay. He said he wasn't going to wait around for me to maybe feel different at 40. He said being 51, he could still find a woman who will give him kids of his own. Hi, editing Paula here, hence the hair and the outfit. But listening to OP's words about what her ex-stepfather said, ew. Just, ew. You should have thought of that however many years ago when you found out OP's mom couldn't have any more children. Like, sir, just because you're 50, I can find a new girl that can give me children. Okay, bye. OP's mom, how did you fall in love with this douche canoe? And that's a word from Dusty for anybody who's wondering. And if you ever hear me say, words are hard, that's also a Dusty word, or saying, and I just gravitate to words that I like. So, words are hard and douche canoe, but OP's ex-stepfather is a douche canoe, and, yeah, not mad he left OP's mom. Just saying. my opinion. Hello, S'more. Everybody, my cat. Alright, back to the episode. And left Mom and filed for divorce. When he was going, he told me he hoped I'd regret rejecting him someday because I had no idea how good I could have had it. I mean, sir, I maybe would have been on your side if you didn't pull that. If you wouldn't have rejected me being your father, you could have had it good. Sir, I have a dad. He died. You tried overstepping my boundary multiple times and kept calling me your daughter when I told you to stop. Ever since, my mom has blamed me. She told me I need to make it up to him so he wouldn't go through with the divorce. But I told her I wasn't lying to get him back. I mean, Mom has some issues. Okay. She said he's been around almost as long as Dad was in my life, and he would have been around to see me get married and give my future kids a grandpa, and now there's nobody. She asked me who I'd call my father figure now. I told her I never called him my father figure anyways, and it was always my grandpas who got the title. See? She never saw him as a father figure. I think it's because he was overstepping. This is a issue for OP's mom because he was overstepping bounds. Mom said the fact that I'd fight her after ruining her marriage shows how little I care about her. That's a fucked up opinion, Mom. I told her I love her and that's why I tried to get along with him. I told her it's not like I wanted someone else when Dad died. And I knew she did, so I accepted him into the household, but I would never let someone be my dad so they would be her husband. Okay, so OP had it in her at the age of 10. My dad is my dad. Even though he's dead, he is my dad. But I know one day, Mom's gonna need somebody. She's going to find somebody. She's gonna get remarried, and I'm okay with that. But they will not be my dad. And OP's mom is just like, no. You have to tell him he is your dad. Because now he's divorcing me. No, ma'am. She claimed I was making excuses and should feel more shame for ruining such a good thing. A good thing for who? You? This girl, since the age of 10, she is 17 now, has been constantly telling people who is being told by her stepfather or ex-stepfather that he is her dad. And she's just like, he's not my dad. He's my mom's husband. He just keeps telling everybody he's my dad. He's my mom's husband. He is my mom's husband. He is my mom's husband. He is not my dad. She is constantly going behind this person after he is calling her his daughter, and she is not wanting it. And the mom is just like, no, he is your father. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Relevant comments. The first person says, if the success of their marriage relied on the feelings of a third person, especially a child, it was never going to last. It's not a solid foundation. You did not ruin their marriage. They did. Stepdad wanted children, and your mother couldn't give him children. They married anyways. Despite this fundamental incompatibility, they have now finally recognized the incompatibility. This has nothing to do with you. You are just easier to blame. If they didn't blame you, they would need to accept that they never should have married, and it's hard to admit that. I'm sorry they put you in this position, but it's not your fault. NTA. Yeah. They should have realized from the get-go, oh, you can't have any more kids, and I want kids, and your daughter does not want a new father, but she's okay with you. Um, she is okay with you, marrying again, but she will not accept me as her father. I really want children. It was never going to work out. So, yay. OP's mom and ex stepfather should have never gotten married in the beginning, to begin with. And like I said, like, it wasn't on OP. OP quite literally now does not have to go behind her ex stepfather and be like, no, he's not my father. No, he's not my father. No, he's not my father. Constantly going behind him saying, no, no. And telling him, no, you are not my father. You are married to my mother, but you are not my father. There are lines you do not cross when it comes to a child. When you are getting married to somebody, okay, be okay with marrying them, but be okay with the child, if they have a child, saying, no, you are not going to be my father. If they had a person that they wanted to be their father, they'd be okay with it. Okay? It's just like, say my niece and nephew. My sister's not married. Both of their fathers are out of their lives. Okay? So say my sister got into a relationship and her kids, my niece and nephew, didn't like the guy, didn't want him to call her or call them dad, didn't want to call him dad, or didn't like the guy and didn't want to be called his kids, didn't want to have him go, you can call me dad, and they were like, no, they should be able to set that boundary. Be able to be like, I'm not going to call you dad. I'm sorry. And if that guy is constantly being like, but I want children, and here is your mother, and you two, why don't you just call me dad? Because I don't want to call you dad. They've had bad experiences with guys coming into their mom's life. And, just up and leaving. So I would get it if they did not want to have somebody call them dad. Though my niece calls me her adopted mother. And yeah. So anyways, on to the next story. It is a best of Redditor updates. Am I overreacting because my husband won't watch our baby while I'm gone? The original post was posted on September 23rd of 2025. I, 36 female, am going out of town for a few days. My husband, 39 male, refuses to watch the baby while I'm gone. He basically says I could just take her 9 months with me. Why don't you want to watch your own child, sir? And I could, but he is her dad, and I'm at a loss as to why he won't watch her for 4 days. It's just 4 days? I'm sorry? Is she going on a business trip? Anyways, okay. Woosah. Okay, let's get past the first few sentences. We're gonna retry this one. I, 36 female, am going out of town for a few days. My husband, 39 male, he's older. Why the refuses to watch the baby while I'm gone. He basically says I could just take her 9 months with me. And I could, but he's her dad, and I'm at a loss as to why he won't watch her for 4 days. My best friend offered to watch her, and he would rather the baby stay with her an hour away than watch her on his own. Safe to say, I'm not too happy about it, and we've had some words. Just not sure they were strong enough. Am I overreacting? Just from that, no. Not overreacting. You are the baby's father. Why aren't you wanting to take care of your own children? Is he one of the guys that, like, I don't want to babysit my kid. You're not babysitting. You're taking care of him. Or her, sorry. Edited to add, we've spoken countless times on this, and he says, she scares me. Excusez-moi? What do you mean your baby scares you, sir? But he's had 9 months to step up and hasn't. It feels more to me that feels trapped when he's watching. It feels more to me. I think he meant he feels. Okay. It feels more to me that feels trapped when he's watching her and can't do his own thing. He thinks she baby trapped him. We both work FT, baby. What is FT? Baby is in daycare during the day. I'm the primary breadwinner. Not saying out of malice, just fact. And I've also had some speculation that I'm a bot, but unfortunately I'm not. This is my real life. Ma'am, why is your husband scared of your child? It's a 9-month-old baby. Why is he terrified of a child? That's the only thing I can't wrap my head around. Like, why is he terrified of a 9-month-old? You've had 9 months to bond and build with this baby. You should have. And you had 9 months prior to that. So you had a full 18 months. You could have been one of those husbands and fathers that would have just said, and I'm sorry about this. So sorry about this. You could have been one of those fathers like, I'm gonna go get some milk. Bye. Peace out. I'll be back later. Never to return. You had 18 months to dip out of this. 18 months to not be a father. Sir, why is the baby scaring you? I'm also trying to. Oh, FT is full time. We both work full time. Baby isn't. Okay. Look at me go back and realize. Update to add. As you can see from some of my comments, my husband and I have tried counseling. We did it for over a year, but I think we've had the wrong counselor. They ended up being very buddy-buddy. Oh. Was it a male counselor or a female counselor? So I have signed up for online counseling, and I'm going to see if there's any changes with that. I am also going to reaffirm boundaries and expectations. I not only want to be happy and have my baby happy and healthy, but I also want him to be a successful parent. I don't think he wants to be a parent. The baby scares him. Like, bro. I've locked comments on this post. I appreciate everyone who has commented or reached out. It just got to be a lot. Some relevant comments. Comment 1. Dude NTA, but real talk? Dude's waving some pretty big red flags. Being a parent isn't a part-time gig. It's a bloody full-time, overtime, all the damn time thing. Yeah, it's tough, but it's no passing the buck when it's not convenient. Stand your ground, mama. You're both made that cute little a bundle of joy, not blonde. I don't know if they're blonde. Sorry. You both made that cute little bundle of joy, and he needs to man up and do his part. OP replied back saying, "Thank you. I tend to agree with the red flag assessment. Didn't expect it because he just wanted a kid so dang much." Really? Are you sure? Ma'am? You sure? He wanted a child? Because, if I remember correctly, and you're edited to add, she scares me. You wanted a baby, but the baby scares you? I'm not convinced. Anyway, commenter 2. NOR, not overreacting. I assume you've never left him alone with the baby overnight in the last 9 months? Have you ever left him alone with the baby at all? Like for a few hours while you get lunch with your best friend? If he has cared for the baby alone before, he may just be... Oop. No, that's okay. If he has cared for the baby alone before, he may just be terrified of being responsible for her overnight and panic that he'll end up harming her. If he's willing to admit that's the reason, it is something y'all can work through. If he's unwilling to be alone with the baby at all, or he's refusing to explain what his problem is, you got some serious issues. He says the baby scares him. And I can't get past that, like, he says the baby scared him. Like, ma'am? Hello? Opie responded, "Yes, I have left the baby with him for periods of time, but not overnight. If I suggested that, he'd be like, 'Can't your mom watch her?' It's like pulling teeth to get him to watch her alone for the first couple of times. He had to have a crutch person, i.e. his friend. Now I can at least go to the store or somewhere for the afternoon and be okay. But it's always poor me when I get home." This man never wanted a child. This man never wanted a child. You know what? It's also giving it's also giving weaponized incompetence. Full on. I can't do it. I need a person here with me. I can't watch her overnight. Can't your mom do it? I can't watch her overnight. Can't your bestie do it? Even though your bestie's an hour away, can she do it? I don't want to. Sir. OP. No offense. Divorce. He didn't want a child. Is OP's husband working? Did he want to take time off from work to care for their baby? OP said, "He works full time, as do I." Okay. "No, the baby goes to daycare. He would take the baby to the daycare. He would take the baby to daycare to go to work and then pick up the baby, same as I do every day." Okay, so he can pick up the baby from daycare. Okay, what? The baby is in daycare from 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. His working hours is 7:30 to 5. It shouldn't interfere with his job at all. Okay, so he just has to feed the baby dinner, give the baby a bath, lotion the baby, because you gotta lotion the baby. Their skin gets dry after a bath. I know this because I've helped take care of my nieces and nephews. Then he has to get the baby ready for bed, put the baby to bed, and at 9 months, they should be sleeping through the night, correct? If I'm not wrong, I haven't been around a baby in what? My nephew is 12. I haven't been around a baby in almost 11 years. So, yeah. They should be sleeping through the night at 9 months, right? That's all he has to, and then wake up, get ready for work, feed the baby, get the baby ready for daycare, take the baby to daycare, and go to work. It's a 10-step progress, sir. The baby should be good. And it's only 4 days. Okay. Commenter 4. Did he even want to be a dad? Thank you. Was it an accident? Those are some serious questions. Not snarky. I didn't want you to think that. Now, I could honestly be that he was scared shitless, that he feels like he's incapable and doesn't know the first thing about babies, And guys like this somehow, we just know. Which is the most asinine thing I've ever heard of because no, we don't know how to take care of babies. We don't know how to take care of kids. We don't know how to take care of old folks. Oh, poor person. Ah, guys should take more home economic classes. Put them with babies when they're growing up. Make you take care of this baby. No, let's not. Let's not parentize children. What we do is we learn. We are attentive to what works and what doesn't when it comes to soothing our children. We understand that our babies really don't know what we're doing either. And so if we just allow ourselves to get to know them as individual little people, because that's what they are, then we'll figure out the putting our babies on their tummies across our knees while supporting their head and patting their back works with this baby. Or this other baby doesn't settle unless they're rocking or walking or there is a white noise machine. We just pay attention and learn. But no, you are not overreacting to the fact that your husband thinks other people should be taking care of his child when he's perfectly able to and perfectly capable. And again, OP. He says his baby scares him. So if he's not, so if he's got something else going on, like he's really scared to death, he fucking needs to tell you instead of making you feel like some sort of single parent. And you could just take her with you. He deserves a sandal along his head for that one. OP said, by all accounts, the only thing he wanted in life was a baby. He told me he's scared, but how do you overcome fear without just doing it? He's expecting me to just do it. He says he wants a child. Always wanted a child. But his own daughter terrifies him. I don't understand. Is OP planning to have more kids with her husband? OP said, I'm not having any more children with him. I don't know that his parents are the authority on parenting either. We did couple counseling for over a year from the time I found out I was pregnant until the baby was about 4 months old. Nothing's changed. There are other issues, but by the time I was going to tell him that we need to wait to have a baby, I was already pregnant, but I love my baby so much I couldn't imagine life without her. So OP was already having problems in her marriage before the baby was even conceived. OP responded on if she has taken her daughter with her everywhere. And what about her husband? OP said, yeah, I take her everywhere. The library? Excuse you? Yeah, I take her everywhere. The library, lunch, the store, out of town. He hasn't taken her anywhere alone. He's gone at least one night a week working at his friend's shop. Those are working and shop are both in quotations. Now that just makes me think he's cheating. Don't do that to me, OP. And almost always at least one day of the weekend. But honestly, I've stopped caring because those times are actually easier when he's not there. Oh, she's gone full parent mode and just doesn't even realize her husband is missing. Oh, that's not a good sign. Okay. Projects range from being on his phone, sitting at his computer, and finishing stuff for other people, but not finishing household projects. Awesome. So, your husband is neglectful to the marriage too. Cool. Is OP's husband disappointed on having a daughter? OP said he never voiced any disappointment in the gender of the baby. I feel like maybe the baby was a checklist item. So, I think what he means there is husband wanted a baby just to check it off the list. I was like, okay, I got a baby. I don't want to be here anymore. Yay. Update October 13th, 2025, nearly 3 weeks later, last month. I went on my trip and my baby stayed at my best friend's house. She had a blast. My husband picked her up Sunday, so he had her for one night. Okay, so he watched her half a day. Woo. Sunday. He watched her one full day and one night. So I just walked in the door an hour and a half ago. He had a doctor's appointment shortly after I got back, which I knew about. But on his way out the door, he said he was also going to drop his car off at the mechanic and run an errand with his buddy. Those two things I did not know about. No communication, just an FYI and bye. That was a see ya. So said he was hoping to be back by 4 to hang out with the family. He pouted for a minute when I flat out said, "Well, you didn't tell me you had to do all of that," but ended up just telling him to leave because I didn't want to watch a grown man pout. He had 3 full days by himself to get everything he needed done, but chose the moment I got home to leave because mom's back. FYI, we started counseling a week ago, but only one had one session so far. I think she meant only had one session so far. So, FYI, we started counseling a week ago, but only had one session so far. Relevant comments to this update. So, in addition to him being a lame dad, he's also a lame husband. Neither good nor bad. Null if you're familiar with databases. Good relationships start with being there, being engaged. He's neither. There's a piece to this puzzle that's missing. OP said, "If you find the missing piece, will you let me know? Ask any question you want, I'll answer them. I don't know if it'll help, but I can try. I don't know if it's something I'm doing wrong." Commenter 2 said, "The missing piece is why you have no self-respect. I remember your OG post and you skirted the questions around how you're underreacting and not holding him accountable. Have you ever told him his behavior is no longer allowed or you're gone? What is couples counseling going to do when the issue is his lack of responsibility? Why are you even trying to hold half the blame for his personal shortcomings? I'm curious how you grew up that you see his behavior as somehow okay. Was your dad not involved much in your life? Genuine question. It's just so bizarre to me that you allow this man to do this." I mean, yeah, OP, like, what is happening? OP said, "I don't mean to skirt around questions. We tried counseling for over a year, my suggestion, but that was a flop. Just when I was about to tell him we really needed to wait for a baby, I was pregnant already. So I knew before I got pregnant there were issues and was hopeful counseling could solve that. I was hopeful counseling would solve. As background and to answer your question, my dad walked out when I was in 4th grade. I do have a fear of abandonment, but I also have a fear of throwing away something if there is a possibility to fix it." Oh, so her father was the milk father. Got it. I'm so sorry, OP. I did not mean to make the milk dad comment. Oh no. Yay. Abandonment issues. I have talked till I'm blue in the face. I've said with counseling present that I can't do this forever. I have not given a strict ultimatum, but have made it clear that things need to change. Commenter 3, have you point blank asked him what happens if you die? Edit, not to sound morbid, but literally, what? OP responded, I haven't, but I should. I wonder if OP has done an update, because it is now November, and it's past Halloween, so let us see. No update. Yeah, OP commented to a replied to a comment saying, "Me cheat? I didn't cheat. I don't want to be a single mom, or I wouldn't have initiated counseling. I can't give him respect if he's not respecting me, our child, or our home. I travel often for work, conferences, and evening planning. I'm not a cheater, but I'm not going to convince you. You don't know him personally, or do you know him Do you know him personally or something? Because this feels personal." Like, I want to know where somebody asked if she cheated. but I can't find the comment. I think the comment was deleted. That's messed up. I'm not too sure about this post though, guys. Looking at the comments, OP commented on r/Tinder. I mean, hell of a Reddit thread, but I would probably go down that rabbit hole too. Yeah. Honestly, OP, I don't think your husband wants to be a father. But yes. Next story is from r/entitled people. Lady tried to cut in front of me to order. I have a 30-minute lunch. It's not a strict 30 minutes, but I like to go out, grab food quickly, then get back to my desk to eat comfortably. I went to Walmart this time because the food at the hot bar is cheap and it's close to my work. I feel you. I get a plate from the deli and it's like $4. Cheapest lunch ever. Just be careful. Sometimes the chicken isn't cooked all the way. And, I don't like chicken that much. I try to avoid undercooked chicken. Everybody should avoid undercooked chicken, but I have bad issues with chicken, so that's a whole nother story in and of itself. Anyways, they are always understaffed, so as usual, when I walk up to the hot bar, there is nobody behind the counter. They should have a bell on the counter that you can just go ding, 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 ding. Because sometimes you can go, hey, hello. Because if you're quiet, they won't notice you there because I'm pretty sure there's a, what's it called? The rotisserie chicken machine, just with chickens in it. They can't really see the hot bar. So, yay. I'm waiting for maybe 2 minutes before 3 kids come running and yelling from the grocery section, pointing at the food and pressing their noses up against the glass. That's hot. No. Back off. You're gonna burn yourself. Oh. Don't touch other people's kids, but I would so be like, hot, no touchy. I mean, on cold days, I like to put my hands up on the glass to defrost my fingers, but don't press your face up against the glass. Their mom finally comes around from produce while talking loudly on the phone and stands uncomfortably close to me. The employee eventually makes her way out, maybe a 5 to 6 minute wait at this point, and kind of looks at both of us and says, "How may I help you?" I'm about to order when the mom speaks up and starts to order. I immediately tell her, "No." "No, ma'am. Mm-mm. I was here first." "Thank you very much. Me first." "I was here first, and I'm in a rush." The mom literally had the surprised Pikachu face and stammered something I didn't hear because I started ordering and walked away with my platter. I mean, as you should. As an introverted person, I'd be like, "Excuse me. No. I was here first. Wait your turn. Obviously, you see me here. You're standing right on top of me. You can feel me here." "No." "I was here first." I'm a non-confrontational person. Yay, introverts. But clearly, she had all the time, literally leisurely walking through Walmart and was ordering for multiple people. On what earth would she go ahead of me? I hated having to speak up, but proud that I did. Sorry we're not NPCs in your world. Everyone else has stuff going on too. Right? Oh my god. I'm sometimes at work. Little Walmart tidbit. I work OPD. So sometimes at work, I'm just standing at the hot case because they have to give us the made to order hot case items for deliveries. And I'll be standing there and there's 3 people in line and I feel so bad when the person at the hot bar is just like, "Okay, what do you need?" And then there's 3 people looking at me now going, "The fuck?" And I'm just like, "I'm sorry. I just, and then I look at the person and it's like, "I need this time's deliveries, please. Thank you." And then I grab them and then I walk away. Or if I'm picking and I need to go do made to order and it's the slice stuff at the deli, and I walk over to the slicers where they are and I just stand there patiently waiting. and there's like 3 people in line, and I'm just standing there waiting. I don't say anything. I'll stand there and patiently wait because I'm paid by the hour. I'm pretty sure I've been walking around all day. My feet hurt. The break is nothing for me. 5 minute wait is fine for me. But no, the deli people will reach into the thing and pull out our little pan that they have for us. And the people at the deli are just looking at me like, how come she gets to cut ahead of me? Sir, madam, I didn't ask for anything. she just knows what I'm here for. But yeah. Yeah, anyways. Yeah, I don't like confrontation either. So if I'm waiting in line for my food and somebody tries getting in front of me, especially if they're standing on top of me, ooh boy, would I have an issue. We'd be having some words like first and foremost, we'd be having words as soon as you stand on top of me. No, personal bubble. Do not stand unless I know you do not stand on top of me. Like I'm all for invading people's personal bubbles if I know the person. And if that person knows me. Do not get in my personal bubble. Like, quite literally, if I have a customer come up and talk to me and they get, like, say, like, this close to me, I will go like this to back up because I'm just like, personal bubble. Do not get in my personal bubble. We'll have issues. And somebody comments on here saying, glad you did too. Too many people don't speak up, and so the entitled ignorance continues. OP said, I was mentally preparing myself in my head to speak up because the way she didn't acknowledge me and stood right next to me, I knew she was going to try and order first. Like, that was my thing. Like, ma'am, get up off my ass. Please. eh. Okay. Next one is from Retail Hell. Is real life. Is this real life? The tag is customers suck. And yes, they do. Whoever decided to shorten the customer's always right needs to burn in all of let's say anybody who knows the Hell's Bell series on TikTok, they need to go down to level 9 and get tortured because the customer is not always right. Okay, anyways. The dumbest fucking thing happened at work today. So there was this old lady that randomly came into my store and complained that her friend ran into the um um I'm sorry. She ran into what? The dumbest fucking thing happened at work today. So there was this old lady that randomly came into my store and complained that her friend ran into our floor to ceiling windows on her way out. Yay. But the friend came up to me and my coworker and was like, y'all need to put stickers or signs up showing where the door is, and left in a huff. Um, you, how did you run into a window? How old are you? Because it says it was an old lady, correct? Yeah, an old lady randomly came in. Like, girl, what do you mean? If your friend was capable of walking in the building, she did this walking out too. She's capable of walking in, which is basically the same door. And most doors are the automatic ones that open for you. How did you run into and use the door handle to open it? How the fuck are you not able to, walk out? So basically, it's like a restaurant that you have to open the door to. Bitch, open the door. And when she's coming in, so it's obviously the same exit. You have to open the door to go out. How? How? She also left a nose print on said window and said she wanted us to clean it off. Right then and there, in the middle of our busiest rush of the day. I'm sorry, I just need to vent. I can't even believe I'm typing this out right now. I'm so glad I work at Walmart, not a store with a door you have to pull or push open, and the doors are automatic. I'm pretty sure somebody has run into those windows too. But yeah. First comment says, "We had a small fire at our store, so of course the fire department shows up. Emptied the building. Everyone stands around outside. Managers on the line with corporate. Fire trucks line up in front of the store. Tons of people milling about outside. This man walks around the fire trucks, walks past the firemen, around the large group of employees, and walks directly into the sliding door, which is off. Turns around and looks at me because I was the closest employee and starts yelling about, 'Why isn't the door working? You could have killed me. I can't believe it. Sir, you walked around a whole bunch of people.' You walked around a fire truck, a firemen, the employees crowded in the parking lot, and over to the door that was locked and face planted the door. No. I have no pity for you. I just I just turned and pointed to the fire trucks. I was just unsure what to say. I've never seen someone so clueless. Like, my dude, something's going on when the fire trucks are around. Dude would have just walked into a burning building, I guess, if the doors hadn't stopped him." Yeah. No. Then again, I worked at Walmart up north, so I transferred up there, and then we had a blizzard that knocked out the transformer, so, no power to the store. Employees had to stay, but we had to close the store down for the customers because obviously they couldn't shop. And some of us were outside, and the cart pusher was outside. We were trying to direct people in the middle of a blizzard, mind you, that, "No, the store's closed. We have no power. But you guys are here. We can't clock out. There's no power, no internet. We can't clock out." At the time, we're using time clocks. The Walmart system wasn't on the phones yet. We couldn't clock out. Sir, hello? He walked around a fire truck to a building on fire. Yeah, no, sir, you deserve to faceplant the door. Somebody else said, "I had a bomb threat called into my mall many, many years ago, and the amount of people who asked if they could stay inside the mall instead of vacating was staggering." Yeah. Oh, I remember also the first year I started working at Walmart, I was a cashier at the time. We had a small vent fire, and we were evacuated, okay? And we had people coming to the store, and this was like 9, 10 o'clock at night. And they're just like people coming up to the employees who were standing around the parking lot because we couldn't really do anything because they evacuated us. And they're just like, "What's going on? Why is everybody standing outside? Mind you, it's cold. Why is everybody outside? What's going on? Why aren't you inside? Sir, you do not see the fire trucks here? Hello? Somebody else commented, "And to think, these people are on the road, allowed to drive. Good times." Somebody else commented, "Several times at a bank I worked at, the power would go out, and for some reason that triggers the lock on the door. So apparently early in the morning, still dark out, a guy tries the door and sees it open, so he marches right into the empty building. According to him, he's telling me the story, he walked into the lobby and just stood there. Like, WTF? And this isn't even why he's telling me the story. No, he wanted to file a complaint. He claims that he stood there, the alarm went off, and that made him feel like a criminal. He didn't break in after all. The doors weren't even locked. He then claimed the sound made him scared and he was surprised he didn't have a heart attack. I just stared at him in disbelief. Then he said, straight faced, I'd like an apology. I lost my faith in humanity that day. Sir, it's dark out. You should know what time your bank opens. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure most banks have the hours of operations posted on the door. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Oh, God. Another comment. This is going to be the last comment I'm reading from this one. My parental grandmother walked through a plate glass window at the mall. She was a brick of a woman, worked on the farm her whole life, and was as strong as your average man. She just stood there, covered in and surrounded by broken glass. This was probably 45 years ago, so I don't remember what else happened. All I remember is being shocked and impressed. Way to go, Grandma. Oh. Oh, I love customers sometimes. I had a customer come up in front of me and full on stop me while I was picking, and uh she stopped me, and then they stopped me and they go, "Where's the mac and cheese?" Mind you, I was standing in front of the mac and cheese. So did the Van White. It's right here, sir. But yeah, no. Yay. Next story. uh this one's from r/Walmart employees. Because, I am a Walmart employee. I am a part of this Reddit thread. I am also a part of the OGP Reddit thread, backroom Reddit thread. So I like the stories there too. This one is this even allowed? I requested Black Friday off November 28th, about 3 weeks ago, using PTO, not PPTO, which my team lead approved. Good on them. Always asking a large quantity of time ahead. It's what they ask, at least. And for anybody asking, Walmart is closed on Thanksgiving. So, yeah. Having the day off after would be great for a lot of people. I don't mind working it. Anyways, I have no family to celebrate Thanksgiving with and haven't celebrated it in about 4 years. My boyfriend recently invited me to his family's Thanksgiving, and we'd be staying the night about 3 hours away. I definitely would not want to work the next day either. That sounds a bit full for my liking, you know? Um, so I requested the following day off. When I told my team lead this, he was more than happy to approve it due to the fact that I haven't celebrated in years and was really looking forward to it. Yeah, sounds like a lot for a lot of people. You guys got to realize Walmart was open for Thanksgiving every year and it stopped during 2020 when COVID happened and the store was having to do a certain amount of customers at a time. So when 2020 happened, they were just like, okay, stores closed on Thanksgiving. And they started doing the online stuff sales on Black Friday instead of in-store sales. So it was like a Cyber Friday and a Cyber Monday. But it was like 2 to 3 weeks preparation for it. I would know. I was there for the beginning of all. The only year I didn't do the overnight Black Friday sales, it's overnight for the associates. Because that's when we're picking them. It's throughout a certain day, and you shop what you want and put it in, and then we go through the store and shop it overnight. Anyways, the only year I didn't do that was the year I broke my wrist and couldn't work overnight because the wrist took from, I did it at the end of October, so November, December, January, 3 months to heal. So, yeah. Anyways, well, fast forward to today. my store manager called me into the coach's office and asked me what my plans were the week of Black Friday. That's when I would definitely go, I'm out of state. Sorry, I won't be here. I'm gonna go spend the holidays with my family. You know, my boyfriend's family, but they're still your family. I'm gonna spend Thanksgiving with my in-laws. I have plans. I won't be here. I instantly knew what it was about, and I told him, going to blank city to meet my boyfriend's family and celebrate Thanksgiving. Okay, innocence. I'm going here. Won't be in town. Yay. um, my store manager then asked me why not just celebrate Thanksgiving on the day of, which I replied, we are. I requested the 28th off because we're staying there 3+ hours away until the following night. He then proceeds to try, which is basically you're going to be in a different city. You will not be in town. That's lay it out to the store manager. I will not be in town. Sorry, not sorry. I cannot work. I was already approved it off. Nothing I can do to help you. Not that I'm saying I can't help you. I'm saying you can't help the store manager. Anyways. He then proceeds to try and talk me into deleting my request and working that day because it wasn't supposed to be approved anyways. They can still approve it. They just have a certain number of people to approve. They want to approve people who are spending Christmas with family far away, or Christmas, Thanksgiving with people far away, and stuff like that. But you ask in the appropriate amount of time. You ask 3 weeks in advance, and it's not even Black Friday. Oops, sorry. And this post was posted 13 hours ago, which was yesterday. And if you're saying he approved it, he probably approved it yesterday, and you asked for it 3 weeks from yesterday. Nah. Or he approved it like 3 weeks, which was about, he approved this in like probably end of August, beginning of October. Why is it on the month that everything is falling on? No. I'm sorry, but I requested it off using my earned PTO for it. It was already approved. My team lead told me he won't need me. See, team lead said, I don't need you. Go ahead. That's enough for me. I'm not deleting it. And when I spoke to my people lead about how the whole conversation made me feel uncomfortable, from him digging into my personal life and trying to slowly make me think I should come to work anyways, she basically told me she couldn't do anything. Are managers, especially store managers, even supposed to ask you to relinquish your approved time off? Not what I don't really know. But, I mean, they can. But, you can easily be like, no, my team lead already approved it. I have plans. I will not be here. I'm sorry. First comment says, you're very lucky to get it. The few that usually do put the time off 6 months in advance. Take a screenshot just in case they try to schedule you anyways. I would take a screenshot of the day because on our apps it tells you what days you request off and if it's approved or not. And every time you go into the little view full schedule thing, it'll tell you if you have something approved or denied. And it still tells you, even if you've seen it like 3 or 4 times. Next comment says, stuff like this is why I quit approving days off and letting management deal with it. Because I'm sure the team lead got chewed out. They can ask you to delete your request, but you do not have to, and they cannot fire you for taking it. OP replied, edit, yeah, my team lead told me he did indeed get chewed out for it. He said he didn't regret approving my time off, though, because I work hard for him and deserve to have a good holiday for once. Kudos to your team lead. Sounds like my team lead. Because I put in... Sounds like my team lead, but my team lead had a little blonde moment. So I put in to have my PTO, 8 hours of it taken out on Thanksgiving because we're closed and I wanted to get paid. I know that I wanted to get paid, but I was doing it in advance. Okay. And he goes into the system, he's going through it, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I denied your PTO for Thanksgiving." I was like, "But why?" He goes, "We're closed anyways." And I was like, "Yeah, that's why I did it." And he's just like, "Oh, it's Thanksgiving." And I was like, "Yeah, thanks." And I haven't went in and put it in there again, only because I found out my coach put me to work Tuesday and have Wednesday, Thursday off. So we're just taking one of my days off and putting it as my day. But my coach also said, "But if you want to get holiday pay, go ahead and put in that day with PTO." I'm like, so people who don't work Thursday can still get paid. I gotta tell Tina that. I love it. I will text her tonight. Let's see. A lot of people are telling OP to take screenshots of their approved day off just in case the store manager goes in and cancels it. But yeah. Next story. This one is from Petty Revenge. I purposefully walked into a woman who wouldn't let me off the elevator. Yay. Confrontation with people. Introverts. Yay. I probably wouldn't just staying at a hotel for a week for a work thing. There's this woman who I encountered when attempting to get out of the elevator. She was either with her boyfriend or her husband. Elevator doors open. She's right there and she just zooms in. I have to jump back to avoid being mowed over. Her partner waits for me to exit. I mean, he has proper elevator etiquette. And for people who don't know proper elevator etiquette, when the doors open and there's people on the elevator, let them out first before you get on. We do not need to stampede in. Let the people who need to get out. Anyways. Well, the next day, I'm leaving around the same time. Elevator door opens. There she is. Without thinking, I'm like, not today. With the same energy, I power walked out, shoulder checked her. I'm shorter than her, so it's more like shoulder chest check. But she stumbles and gives me a dirty look. I just smile and continue on. I saw her one more time in the lobby and just smiled at her in the face of her glare. Gotta love people. And so the first comment is basically what I'm saying about elevator etiquette, but they also say train. Florida does not have a train where I live. We have buses, but anyways, where I live, we don't have trains. Anyways, I hate idiots that jump onto lifts/trains when there are people who want to get out. Come on, common sense to let people out first. Is it? These people are the same people who wait in the front of a luggage belt at the airport and block the way for the people who do have luggage on the belt already. Oh yeah, and then there's another comment that says, and there's some people who have full-blown conversations in front of the door or carts at the grocery store. Oh, I can't stand those customers at the grocery stores who just stop in the middle of the aisle and start talking. Granted, I'm an associate that stops and starts talking when I'm not supposed to. It's like at the utmost time of, we need to hurry, and I'm just like, I don't want to. I'm a bad associate, I know, but 'tis life, and I don't always want to work all the time, okay? Anyways, so those customers are just like, they just stand there and talk, and they have their carts diagonal, but they're going like this, so their carts end up cockeyed away from each other, and they're just standing in the middle talking, and so they're blocking the whole aisle. Like, really? And then they get mad at you because you're trying to go through, and you're just like, where the do you want me to go? It's okay. I love people. I love my job. And then we got another one from Petty Revenge. Yay. My coworker keeps stealing my pens, so I swapped them out. Sounds fun. I'm used to leaving a few pens on my desk, but they always seem to vanish. At first, I thought maybe I was just being careless, but then I noticed one of my coworkers always had the exact same pens I bought. Instead of calling him out, I decided to make things a little interesting. I wouldn't have called him out either, but that's only because I have confrontation issues. Let me talk about it to somebody who wasn't involved or was there and witnessed it, and let me vent it out. But actually confronting somebody, no. Not happening. Won't confront you. No, no. No, no. No, no. I decided to make things a little interesting. I bought a pack of disappearing ink pens and left them in the usual spot. Sure enough, he borrowed one right before a meeting and started taking notes. About halfway through, his notes began fading until the page looked blank. He stared at it in total confusion while everyone else kept writing. I had to keep a straight face, but inside I was dying of laughter. Needless to say, he never touched my pens again after that, and my desk supplies have been safe ever since. I'm so glad I don't work in an office that people are being petty about a pen. It's a pen, people. I love people. I love Reddit people, at least. Your pen's disappearing. You found the disappearer. Now their notes are gone. A lot of these comments are like, coworker, my notes are vanishing. You, that's nothing. Whole pins vanished from my desk. Oh god. And we got our next one, which is neighbors from hell. All right, petty neighbors. Neighbor destroys property stakes. So glad I rent and don't own. Or if I do own, I would probably get a big amount of land where I can put a privacy fence around. And if they fuck up with the fence, it would mean that they bought land beside me first off. Because I would make sure it's in the middle of freaking woods so I don't have to deal with people. I want to be a recluse, okay? But then they'd have to, destroy my fence if they were building land next to me and they overdid their property. Anyways, our neighbor took up a stake who knows when, so we had our entire property resurveyed. After paying all that money, it didn't take them long to bust up the new stakes as well. We have multiple conversations with them and even went as far as to physically show them the property line, but something is not registering with them. We got quotes for a fence, and the first thing the guy says before he runs his measuring wheel was, "They're on your property." He was reluctant to even measure. They had junk cars and even built a privacy wall about 2 to 3 inches into our property. The previous owners had a fence put up, and it was right on the line. But for some reason, the neighbor rides his little lawnmower outside of his fence in the backyard to cut our grass outside of his fence like it's his property. He cuts a good 10 inches over the line. I mean, hey, if he wants to mow your lawn, mow my lawn. I don't care. It's nothing. You just don't have to worry about 10 extra inches, man. There you go. Size matters. No, sorry. They knew we were getting a fence and moved one of the junk cars, so this was way over the line. The nose of the car and the privacy wall is left to be moved. My biggest concern now is when we put up the fence is if they are going to vandalize it. Shake my head. Update, we put up the fence today. The neighbor moved his car. I suggested he throw it in neutral and push the baby back a foot. And we tore down the wooden plant wall. He said he didn't want the wood or anything. Recorded the combo and took pictures of both sides of the line again. Bought a no trespassing sign and 2 trail cams. Can't pronounce the name of the trail cam because I am dyslexic. Yay. A lot of the comments before his update was telling put up cameras to see the fence. If they vandalize it, call the police, show them the footage. And a lot of people were agreeing with that. One person said it's actually a felony in my area to purposely remove the stakes. And then somebody else commented under that saying, resurvey, repost, run a string and ribbon along the property line, and immediately put a large 40-pound rock at a fence post intervals, putting right up to the property line that hide motion sensors and emit ear-splitting alarms when moved, not just bumped or nudged. This person scares me. Do not make this person mad. Yeah, let's not do that. Another person commented, I would pursue legal action for the stake removal. It seems that the only thing left to do. I'm sorry you have bad neighbors. I lived out the last 20 years next to my in-laws. They thought they could use our property as their own. We ended up having a war over it. They just refused to accept it even after court. They had passed away, thankfully, and we have new neighbors that are great. My whole neighborhood is great now. Then, when pursuing legal action, ask for a huge monetary penalty to be paid for each trespass. And then Opie goes, oh, thank goodness you don't have to deal with that anymore. Yeah, I think they got everything that they needed. They just wanted to vent, you know? Neighbors suck, I guess. We had a terrible neighbor, but he was just across the street. It was all well and good in the end. He left. Anyways, time for the next story. It's another Best of Redditor update. Am I the jerk face? My fiancé told me, this is it, take it or leave it. So I gave him the ring back and told him to get out of my house. Sounds like a fun experience. We're going to cancel an engagement today. Yay, it wasn't actually today. The original post was posted on September 5th, 2025. My fiancé, Tom, 37 male, and I, 28 female, have been together 2 years. He moved into my house 6 months ago and proposed a month ago. I thought we were solid, but now I'm questioning everything. I inherited a fortune 3 years ago. It changed my life, but I live below my means. I work part-time as a teacher, travel, and have a non-profit in the works. I budget carefully so the money lasts. Only my dad and sister know the full amount. I mean, as long as you're budgeting and living beyond your means. And you said you guys so you got the inheritance before you met your fiance. Okay, so she got her fortune 3 years ago. She met her fiance 2 years ago. They got engaged a month ago in September. Not now. It's been 2 months. Anyways. Good. When Tom moved in, I paid everything except most groceries. He wanted us to eventually buy a bigger house together so his dad could move in. No, thank you. If I had a chance to move out of my house that I live in with my parents and my older brother, I would. So much so, I would. Granted, I love my parents, and my brother gets on my nerves, but I love them so much that I would probably just buy them a house because I don't want to get them moving back in with me. I love them very much so, but I am pretty much taking care of them right now because of the fact that my mom had a mini stroke and she can't really do things. Her right side has tremors, and my dad has COPD and what is it? COPD and sleep apnea. So I'm constantly doing things for him all the time, constantly doing things for her all the time, plus a full-time retail associate, plus content creator. I have no time left in my day, okay? If I could lighten it, I would. Let's start by removing the retail career. Hopefully this career takes off. Anywho, no. So, no, let's not move father into our house that we just got together. Nah. Alright, anyways. When Tom moved in, I paid everything except for most groceries. He wanted us to eventually buy a bigger house together so his dad could move in. I said no to living with in-laws. She set boundaries. Okay. Love a boundary queen. Got it, got it. But suggested maybe a separate unit someday, so he has some place to live. I would so do this if I got a chance to move out of my parents' house. In-law suite, separate house on a property, big enough property, you know. Um, I seen some TikToks where it was a family lot and it had like 4 separate houses on this lot, and sometimes they'd go over to each houses whenever they're barbecuing or something. It's great. I love it. Anyways, um, one can only hope to do that later in life. I have enough family to do that too. Um, let's see. Me, my sister and her kids, my other sister and her kids, my other sister and her husband, my other sister and her boyfriend, my 2 brothers, one who lives with his girlfriend, the one that lives with the one brother and his girlfriend, my brother who lives here with me and my brother. And so yeah, that would be 7 houses. That would be like a circle. Yay. Just have a family lot that's really, really big. We'd have to like own like 3 farms put together and then just have like a circle of houses. It'd be great. Community little center in the middle. Anywho, um, he pushed back but agreed we need to discuss finances first. Tom earns maybe 10K a month and has 100K saved. I have millions invested and about 40K a month income from it. When I told him, he was shocked. He said if I had so much, why not just buy the house and cover everything? I explained that just because I can doesn't mean I should. We plan to get this house together. If I buy the house now, it would be my house. Your name wouldn't be on the lease. Or the title, sorry. Your name would not be on the title. I would give you a lease and you would become my tenant. And then you wouldn't have anything to do with the house. I proposed separate finances, a joint account for expenses, and splitting costs proportionately to income. I also told him I wanted a prenup. That's when things blown up. He's showing you his true colors. He wants your money. He argued we should be equal partners, meaning I buy the house in both our names even if he doesn't contribute. That wouldn't be equal. I'm buying the house with my money. How much are you putting into that house? Do you want me to put you on a payment plan? You gonna pay me back over time so you can own part of this house? I will make sure you have 10% interest each month. And if you forget a month, 100%. You'll owe me twice as much. And when I say 100%, I meant like 100% of each month's payment. Every day it's late. I'm evil. Do not piss me off. Yay. Anyways, we fought about this for days. Eventually, he gave me an ultimatum. Final offer. You buy the house. We each own 50%. I'll sign the prenup. Take it or leave it. Sir, you still wouldn't own the house. She would own the house. The bank would know she owned the house. I would put in the prenup. I get the house if we divorce. Because he gets my money. He wants my money. Put in the prenup. Certain clause. And it wouldn't be like a fidelity clause. So, like, put in there, like, bitch says or does anything stupid or contradicts me about money and he wants us to be equal, but he keeps making me do things and buy things for him. And we finally get divorced. He gets nothing. I take everything. I would put that clause in there. Make it in big pretty print. See if he reads it. You would get nothing, sir. Nothing. I asked if that meant breaking up if I said no. He hesitated but said yes. So I left it. I took off the ring, told him it was over and that he needed to move out. He backtracked, saying he hadn't really wanted things to end, just wanted me to agree. Funny how things look when you don't no longer have a house, my dude. Yay. Nor a girlfriend or a fiancé. Mm-mm-mm. He accused me of throwing away our relationship for money. No, you are. You want me to buy a house and say that we both bought it. No, because we aren't married yet. We can't both buy it because our finances are not joint. Because it's my money, my house. Yay. I told him he threw it away by demanding I fund our life and give him half of assets I work to protect. Now I'm wondering if I sabotage my relationship. I love him, but I don't think it's fair to bankroll a grown man or accept ultimatums about my own money. Am I the jerkface? Relevant comment. The first dumb thing you did was tell him the amount of money you have. Because even if y'all do stay together and eventually get married, he's going to be constantly thinking about that money and trying to find ways he can get just as much of it as he can. Y'all got to learn how to stop running your mouth so much. I understand that you kind of got to let your mate know a little bit, but he did not need to know exactly how much money you have. Men can be just as greedy as women. Let a woman find out that a man got a bunch of money, she's going to do everything in her power to get as much of it as she can. It's going to consume her. Men can be the same way. I think you breaking up with him was probably the best thing to do because your marriage would be all about money. OP commented and said, I agree with you. I normally don't talk about money or share these kinds of information. But since we were engaged, I honestly thought it was only fair for both of us to understand where we stood financially. I realize now that it might have been a mistake, but at the time I truly believed I was doing the right thing for our relationship. And somebody else commented to that saying, it was the right thing to do before getting married legally. When you're married, a lot of financial and legal relationships kick in. You have to lay your cards out on the table before making this kind of commitment. Unfortunately, large amounts of money can make otherwise nice people crazy. I also came into money, and I'm lucky that my husband is a reasonable and honorable person, as well as being the love of my life. No grasping or ultimatums. I'm sorry you had to go through that, OP. Your fiancé has shown you who he is. The money revealed his greed. I'm so sorry, not the jerk face. Protect yourself from a lifetime of him caring more about your money than you. Good luck, OP. Sincerely. Then OP edited to add, when we first started dating, he understandably questioned how I managed my lifestyle on a teaching salary. I explained that I had a small inheritance, which allowed me to buy my house and have some savings to live on. Okay, so OP told her ex-fiance, because she already said in the first post that she gave the ring back, no longer together. So she told them when they first started dating, because he asked, how are you being able to do your lifestyle on a teaching salary, a part-time teaching salary at that? How are you able to do this? And she admitted, I had a small inheritance, which should have just been like, got it. I would have given him a small amount. When you said small inheritance, you had a way to be like, listen, this is how much money I have, and this is what I'm doing with it. This is how I'm able to do this, this, and this, and this. Just my small inheritance. Because that's what I would say when we're talking finance, because we're getting married. Because as soon as you told him when you first started dating, I had a small inheritance. As soon as you said small, you could put a small number until you were actually married and see. Because if he would have reacted to that small amount and it was an okay reaction, and then you got married to him, you could be like, listen, I kind of lied to you. So I wanted us to get separate accounts, but also have a joint account for you know, mortgage and utilities and all that stuff, expenses. And then we had our separate accounts. And both that we split things 50-50 down the middle. Yeah, I kind of lied to you about my inheritance. This is how much I'm making, and gauge his reaction from your reaction when you said you had a small inheritance to your I'm a multimillionaire, but I live modestly. You know? Anyways, that's what I would have done. But that's just me. I don't like money to begin with. I think if I have it, I would blow it all on K-pop. If you haven't noticed behind me, anyways, K-pop and books, where my money would go. And yarn. I have a yarn addiction. Damn crocheting. Yay. I'll also actually put some crochet Reddits in here as well. So, yay. Because a lot of crocheters have stories too. Trust. Anyways, I admit I may have been wrong to be vague, but at the time we were just starting to date and I wasn't comfortable sharing all the details yet. Be as vague as you want until you know he's not going to go all, buy me this, buy me this, buy me this. He will become the passenger princess of your life that you never wanted. Mm-mm. When you're supposed to be the passenger princess. Mm-mm. Yay. My house is nice, but not extravagant, and during our relationship, we always split expenses 50-50, dates, trips, everything. And he was getting tired of it. That's why he moved into your house. When he moved in, I offered to keep covering the utilities since I was already paying them, and he would handle groceries. Things were fine until after we got engaged. I pushed for us to discuss everything openly before marriage, and we agreed on most things. About his father moving in, it wasn't something he wants right away, but he says eventually his dad will move in so he can take care of him. I adore his father, but I personally don't want to live with in-laws. Most people don't. Like I know there's a mother-in-law suite, but no to the father-in-law. His solution was that we should buy another house together, so he would feel like it's our home, instead of him living in my house. I understood that perspective, but the new house would also have to be larger if his dad were to move in, which I'm not comfortable with. I mean, you set your boundaries. What everybody needs. About finances, eventually we discussed buying another house. The plan was to contribute together, but once we started looking at what we could afford, we had to lay our finances on the table. When he found out my net worth, everything shifted. He said that if we split 50-50, we couldn't afford a bigger house, and since I had the means, I should buy the house myself and it would still be our house. No, it wouldn't. It would be my house. Unless you are contributing to this house, it's my house. Okay, sir? My house. My house. I will become Ross Geller about this with his turkey sandwich. My sandwich. It would become my house. Not our house. Mine. I told him that whatever amount he contributes would equal his share of equality in the property. Maybe I was naive, but until this point, I never saw signs of him being a gold digger. He never pressured me for paying things and always split expenses fairly. That's why this change has been a bit of a shock. People like to hide their true colors. Mine are purple. No. Right now I'm locked in my bedroom and I told him he can sleep in the guest room tonight, but that he needs to move out tomorrow. We haven't spoken since. This is where things stand. Thank you all so much for the support and comments. It means a lot. And just to clarify, this is a throwaway account I created for privacy reasons. Okay. Update September 6th, 2025. Wow, this blew up. Thank you so much for all your comments and support. This morning I woke up and Tom had made breakfast and asked if we could talk. He said things got out of control last night and he wanted to explain his side. There's nothing to explain. You want me to buy a house, say it's our house, when it's really my house, and say you contributed when you didn't. No, sir. Mm-mm. 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 That's like saying I could buy. You want me to buy the house with majority of my money, even though a lot of it are in savings, and I have plans for a nonprofit, which means that money that is it for the nonprofit is not available to be used. You know, yay. No, my house. He told me he was upset that I had lied about my finances. I never lied. I told you I got an inheritance. You didn't ask how much. And we just started dating. So, you know, I'm not at fault. Yay. um, he told me he was upset that I lied about my finances and felt like I didn't trust him. He said the money difference made him feel like I would always have more power in the relationship and that he might be vulnerable to financial abuse. Sir, she knows how much you make, to how much she is making just on an investment. And she has yet to financial abuse you. Most financial abusers start that during the dating process to see how well they can manipulate the person. And if they can manipulate them very well, that's when they get to the proposal stage. And once they get to the proposal stage and the person that they're abusing financially goes, yes, very much so, I would love to marry you. Yeah, that's when things escalate just a little bit more. But she hasn't even tried. She's not going to financially abuse you. Anyways, sorry. My thoughts. He insisted that he wasn't interested in my money, but wanted to feel he's not interested in your money. But he wants you to buy the house and put him on the deed of said house. No, thank you. But no, I'd have to decline, my good sir. Yeah, no. Mm-mm. No, thanks. He insisted that he wasn't interested in my money, but wanted to feel like I would choose him over money. He admitted that he handled things badly and should never have reacted the way he did or given me an ultimatum. He said he felt lost and frustrated because he wanted you to buy a house and you said no. And when you said no, he's just like, but you have the money, you make more than me. The only thing he emphasized really matters to him is his father eventually moving in, which I still said I did not want. They're very close and he wants to take care of him as he gets older. He apologized, said he didn't want to lose me, and told me he was willing to accept my conditions. I apologized for not being upfront about my inheritance, but I also told him I wasn't sure I can continue this relationship. His reaction last night felt entitled and manipulative, and I'm afraid he was showing me who he really was. I told him I loved him, but I worried money will always be an issue between us. If he's already pushing for a house before marriage, what else would he push for later? Exactly. I explained that the only way I could even consider continuing is if he agreed to 1. A bulletproof prenup stating that in case of divorce, he only leaves with what he contributed, nothing more. 2. Agreeing to buy a house together, but his equity would reflect his contribution only. I also suggested options like a guest house for his father or a condo nearby, but not living directly with us. 3. Creating a monthly budget where we both contribute proportionately to our incomes into a joint account for shared expenses while keeping our separate accounts for personal money. 4. Going to counseling together. I feel as soon as you had to lay out these ultimatums, it killed the relationship because you don't trust him. That's why you are giving him these rules. And once you have to put numbered, ultimated rules, do this or this is happening, your relationship is already over. And now you're just trying to hold it together with a tiny itty bitty piece of thread with rules attached. And it's not going to work. He agreed to all this. Still, I told him I don't know if I can trust him again and need time to think. He agreed to go stay in a hotel for a few days to give us both space. Right now, I honestly don't know what to do. Part of me sees his point and wonders if he just overreacted. But another part of me is afraid that if I ignore his behavior, I'll be setting myself up for bigger problems in the future. I would really appreciate your help in figuring out where to go from here. Mm, run, run for the hills. Please, 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 run for the hills. First comment is change the locks of the house while he's at the hotel. I'm serious. Like you said, he's untrustworthy at this point. If you have a sick family member, you and your family look after that person. Dragging someone you've been in a relationship with for 6 months is very hard or very weird and inappropriate, inconsiderate, and enforcing of him. OP responded by saying, thanks for the advice. I'm calling a locksmith to change all the locks just in case. We've been together for 2 years, but only 6 months living together. And then somebody else commented, please don't ever move into a man's house again. You know you were engaged. I know you were engaged, but next time look for a guy who owns his own home and has equality. I posted a few comments about people who marry and to climb the property ladder. This guy has plenty of cash, or so he says, and could easily own a home or a condo somewhere, but he doesn't. He saw your nice home and figured he could marry you and get you to sell what you have, trade up, and he'd be the co-owner. Because once you marry and buy a new house, that's marital property. Don't do this again, please. You don't need to date a man in your financial bracket, but find one who does or who did what you have done, invests in a home for himself. The other issue is the age gap. He's 37 and doesn't own his own home. Red flag. This economy, guys. This economy. I get it, he's 37. He had a chance before that. But a lot of people come up poor. So, I would never do what this guy's doing with money, but okay. His dad is living on his own now, but he wants to move in. Dad is probably in his 60s and may be capable of living on his own for 20 plus years. I had a friend who is 68, a cancer survivor, and living on her own just fine. Find a man who shares your values and who is no more than 4 to 5 years older. 30 to 32 is a good range. If he doesn't own a house or a condo, he's not for you because you need someone who is your equal. Not in terms of net worth, but in terms of financial values. Find a guy who wouldn't quit his job if he won the lottery. High school football coach, doctor, university scientist. Look at values. The lottery is 1.8 billion today, and if I won it, I would still keep my job because I love my work. If I won the lottery today, I would still keep my job because I would not be able to pay my bills all the time. But, gotta love it. There is one more update. But I would keep my job because I would use all that money if I won the lottery to pay off bills, debt, buy mom and dad a house, probably buy me a house, do like the whole little family lot thing. Just, I want a house with a pool. That's all I want. I live in Florida. It's hot. Final update. Am I the asshole? My fiance told me this is it. Take it or leave it. So I gave him back his ring and told him to get out of my house. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for all the comments and support. I took some time away to think, talk to my sister, my therapist, and my lawyers, and I made my decision. As much as I care for Tom, I realize I cannot marry someone I don't trust. What's happened broke the trust, and I know it would always be in the back of my mind in our marriage. Every financial decision, I doubt him, and that's no way to build a future. Because you're pretty sure he'd be like, this is what we need. You buy it. We'll put my name on it. Yours too, don't worry. But we'll put my name on it. No. Absolutely not. No. Anyway. A few days ago, I asked him over and told him my decision. He admitted he messed up and wanted to try couples counseling, but I told him we're broken up. I agreed to counseling only as a way to see if reconciliation is possible someday. But truthfully, I feel like I just delayed the inevitable. I just didn't want to pull the band-aid all the way off, and then I put it back on, and I just finally ripped the fucker off. I had already packed his things, and he was hurt when he saw them. That was heartbreaking, honestly. I felt really bad, but I knew I had to stand firm. He left with his things and got a new place. If it was that easy for him to get a place, why was he fighting with you about getting a place if he could easily get a place? Anyways, yeah. Let's see. This has been heartbreaking and draining, but I know it's the right choice. Thank you again for the advice and encouragement. It's been really helpful to get me here. For those who worry about me making him homeless, don't. He makes good money, and we live in a tourist city. Before moving in with me, he lived in hotels and short-term rentals for months. He hasn't paid rent here for 6 months. He'll be fine. He's not ending up on the streets. Sir, why are you taking... You only have to pay for groceries. You've been not paying rent for 6 months. And even before that, you were basically hotel hopping? What? Sir, no. No. First comment, good for you. Take care of yourself. Best of luck moving forward. All the comments are congratulating her. One comment said, he overplayed his hand whilst making demands. Weird how he was adamant his dad needs to live with him, and this was a deal breaker in the beginning. Even when OP told him she didn't want to live it with the in-laws, he was still pushing until he saw the money getting further away from him. So he designed a new playbook where he was willing to stick his poor dad that he needed to care for into a condo or into a new guest house that, yes, the new house which OP was going to buy for the family, she didn't want to, she didn't want to and pay for by herself, then happily just hand over 50% ownership in this to the fiancé. He may not have known OP's net worth at the beginning, but once he found out, his brain went into overdrive, working out different scenarios where OP would be paying and he would be living live stream, receiving assets, getting his own way regarding his dad, living with them, and never having to work again. Yeah. Another comment is, I'm glad you kicked out the gold digger. You were right that you would never be able to fully trust him. Having to question all your financial decisions is no way to live life, especially if you have so much and could take years before he bleeds you dry. Right? Because she never actually said how much she had in this. The constant fear and doubt would cause horrible stress. Tom fucked up. Even if he's not a gold digger, he played the part of one to perfection. There's no coming back from that lost trust. If he's really honest, he can find someone else to put up with him. He's no longer your problem to worry about. Yeah. Good job, OP. Kick the trash to the curb. That's what we all like to hear. Next story. Am I the asshole for blocking my wife after she wouldn't stop calling me at work? I, 27 male, work night shifts away from home in a dangerous job where I'm responsible for team safety. Yesterday, I had just woken up and was getting ready for work when my wife, 25 female, texted saying she wasn't doing well and wanted to talk. I took her call even though I was exhausted and short on time. We talked for about 20 minutes. I mostly listened, but at one point I said we both need to work on a relationship and that while I was responsible for a lot, I can't take all of it. She got angry. I said I was hurt. She wouldn't hear my side. She hung up. After that, she started calling and texting me nonstop. She said I was hurting her and had to answer. I told her I needed space and to stop. She didn't. She even started calling my work phone. This went on for about 2 hours, to the point where I had to block her just so I could focus on my job. Didn't he say at the beginning he had a stressful job and he was focused on safety of not only him, but everybody on the team? Ma'am, are you trying to get him fired or murdered, I guess? No, ma'am. Block him. I would have blocked her after the first time. And then, as soon as she hung up, because she wasn't listening to my side, and then she's like, Okay, now I'm gonna spam call him and spam text him. I would have blocked. As soon as it reached message number 10, call number 10, block. Because I know she's just gonna call and rant and rave at me. Might as well just block, you know? And then it gets to, um, what is it? It gets to the work phone. I would have blocked her as soon as I had a blocker on my phone. She's now saying I abandoned her and that I'm controlling, emotionally abusive, and I don't care for her. Ma'am, you hung up on me. She threatened to show up at my workplace if I don't answer. She even got her mom and friends to call me. They're being blocked too. It's okay. I feel like I was just trying to protect my boundaries and my ability to do my job safely. But she said I was cruel and abusive for shutting her out. Ma'am, you hung up on me first. What? Am I the asshole for blocking her and refusing to talk to her until I feel safe? Edit for context. My wife and I have been together for 9 years. No kids. I work away from home on a 2-week rotations, 4 hours away. I'm currently 6 days into this shift. I grew up with a narcissistic mother and the family's scapegoat. I cut contact 7 years ago. I've always been a people pleaser and took the blame just to keep the peace. I've been in therapy for 5+ years and still struggle with shame and self image, but I made progress. So your wife knows all of this, and she's still being like this? Hmm. Our relationship has always been difficult. We both came from broken homes. We've each done individual therapy and we've tried couples counseling, but stopped at her request. I think you need to go back to couples counseling, to be honest. About 6 months ago, I got a new boss who triggers a lot of my old wounds. It forced me to learn boundaries and to be okay with being disliked. It's been really hard, but also necessary. I know I've been bringing some of that stress home and I'm working on it in therapy. For years, I avoided conflict and just agreed with my wife. Recently, I've started speaking up instead of frowning. That's been a big shift for us. I've arranged coverage at work and I'm taking a couple days off because my team's safety is top priority. I know I wasn't in the right headspace. I don't know what this means for our relationship yet, but I know I need time to process. Thanks to everyone's support, it means a lot. Um, yeah, no, OP, you're not the asshole. I would have blocked her 10 calls and 10 text messages in. As soon as it hit 10 on each of those, your number is going unblocked. I don't care. First comment is, you're not the asshole. She's an adult. She wasn't dying or giving birth. Her response was absurd and manipulative. The fact that she sent others after you as well suggests that she's used to getting tended to. What's wrong with her? Is this really a relationship you want? Because this snapshot doesn't look great. Um, yeah, doesn't actually. Um, Especially if he started setting boundaries and she's not used to that. It's because she's probably like, I really don't like that he's setting boundaries now. Oh, he normally agrees with me. Damn therapy. Um, Another comment is, NTA, holy shit, best lawyer up ASAP. Don't mean you need to file. Just start preparing. Tell whoever calls to mind their business. Tell your wife to start taking responsibility for her behavior, or the marriage will be over. Update me. I love it. It's been 2 months. The OP has not updated, so hopefully it's all good there. And on to the next story. We said OP last story was not the asshole, so. Next story is from True Off My Chest. My father-in-law hates me because of my appearance and is turning my relationship into hell. Father-in-law relationship hell. Woo! You don't actually see that very often. But yeah. Um, Basically, when me and my girlfriend started dating a year ago, her, 24 female, came to me, 25 male, and told me how her father is a crazy misogynist and they have some rules, such as a curfew at 10. She's 24. Why does she have a curfew? I'm confused. Anyways, my curfew stopped happening at 18. And that my curfew for most of my life was come home when the streetlights came on. And once I got old enough, it was just tell me where you're going and what time you're going to be back. And if it was a school night, be back relatively on time because you can't stay out all night on a school night. Anyways, no spending the night away from home and things like that. Again, she's 24. Okay. Even though I know how much of a jerk he is to women, I don't go into too much detail here for her sake. I tried to be cordial at the beginning of our relationship. Anyways, during that time, there were two things he didn't like. One, she came to spend New Year's Eve with me. She's 24. That just irks me. Anyways, two, at a special moment, we spent the night together, and she only got back the next day because she sounds like she's being an adult, you know. Woo. Okay, so we broke up a few months ago, and 2 weeks later, we got back together. But she decided she wasn't going to tell him. And during that time, I found it strange that she wasn't complaining about her going out anymore since he constantly complained when she went out with me. I just think the dad does not like you. Or she's just saying, "I'm going out with my friends, Dad. I'll be back." He just doesn't like her dating, which is concerning. But anyways, last week when we went to a concert that ran a little late and he got home an hour later than usual, coincidentally, 4 days earlier, her father found out that we had gotten back together. Obviously, her father freaked out about the delay, but she didn't say anything to me until a few days later. She basically told me that he kept saying how she was the only one who wanted to date me. That's why we got back together, and apparently, he said more offensive things about me. Now, here's the thing. He's a bald old man who shows off his muscles, works as a security guard, and thinks he's a cop, while I'm chubby and look like a nerd. I'm sorry. What's wrong with being chubby and a nerd? Chubby. Nerd. I'm a chubby nerd, and it's okay. Oh, I have straight, long blonde hair. People often compare me to Corpse Grinder. No idea who that is, but okay. Today we went out again, and they had a discussion. According to her, the bald guy kept cussing at me, and he also cursed at her, calling her a whore and saying that if she continued like that, she would be kicked out of the house. Why doesn't she move? About her living with me, I live with my mother to take care of her because she has a health problem, and my girlfriend doesn't earn that much. Even though she could afford to move out, she always says she's afraid to do so and get fired because then she wouldn't be able to go back to her father's house, etc. She also says that she doesn't want to move so as not to abandon her teenage sister because then she would suffer alone because he also keeps insulting her. I think mm, mm, this is kind of a iffy matter because OP likes his girlfriend, but he knows that her father's like this. So I think it's one of those catch 22s because he knows she's not going to move, and um, he knows that she's going to be like, I can't leave my sister, and if I move and I lose my job, I won't be able to move back in with my father, and my sister would be alone, and woe is me, you know? But, yeah. One comment says, she might not move out now, but she needs to take the steps to do so, saving all the money she can, figuring it out so she can take her sister with her when she is of age. All that kind of stuff. This is not a way to live. OP said, she asked me to not give my opinion on these matters, so I don't say anything that she doesn't value her opinion. You're telling her she needs to get out, and she's just like, no, I don't want to hear it. So I don't say anything, but sometimes I get stuck in my head and I need to talk about it, which is why I wrote this post. Basically, he just wanted to rant. Anyway, with her current salary, she could share an apartment with someone or rent one of those student rooms. She would just have to cut back on extra expenses. I sometimes feel like moving out isn't urgent for her because she may feel bad about not being able to do normal adult things, but she hasn't been in a situation where she did something and then was deprived of it, which is worse. So I feel that for her, it's something like, damn, I want to have an adult life, but I don't know if it's worth losing my stability. After all, as I mentioned, she had never experienced that part of adulthood, freedom. The person who commented the first part, one of the things she needs to do the steps to move out, they said, I understand, but what she has isn't stability, it's the devil she knows. And they're kind of right, OP. She needs to... Somebody commented saying, I get that he has some rules for continuing to live in his house, such as coming home at a reasonable hour to avoid waking others, etc. But he's treating a 24-year-old like she's 16. I have to wonder where this relationship is going if she doesn't want him to know that you're dating, and you're not allowed to give your opinion on issues that also affect your relationship. It's not going anywhere. That's why. OP commented, the thing with ours isn't like that. At least what she said to me some time ago was that he says women who stay out after midnight on the streets are prostitutes. Sir, she was with her boyfriend, who you met, who you know she's in a relationship with. She's not going out and sleeping with others. OP. I'm sorry, but this is just gonna keep happening. Just, I say, you might have to bite the bullet on this one and just leave where things are, I guess. Anyways, next story. Landlord maliciously compliance themselves. This is from Malicious Compliance subreddit, guys, if you haven't guessed from the title. This happened a few years ago in my last apartment. My roommate and I were living in a basement place with upstairs neighbors, and the owner decided he wanted to sell. The upstairs neighbor ended up buying it and became our new landlords, and they were awful about it. I could fill a whole post with the amount of stuff they tried to get away with, but we're here to talk about the one particular instance. But suffice to say, they had no idea that landlords had responsibilities and simply saw us tenants as a source of income that should be ever growing, hence our rents suddenly spiking and why we left. But this one time, they maliciously compliance themselves. See, they had a habit of trying to push stuff on us that were blatantly illegal. Their first contract, for example, said, among other things, that they had the right to enter the apartment at any time they wanted and can go through our stuff if they wished because we were living in their property. I pointed out that was highly illegal, and they grew very upset, saying, well, we'll see about that. This clause later suddenly became a real one before we signed. One day, however, our lone fire alarm stopped working. As dutiful tenants, we reached out and said, hey, the fire alarm stopped working. Their response was a predictable sort of, so what? We need a working fire alarm, we replied, and it's the landlord's duty to provide working fire alarms. No, it's not. You want one? You get it. The law says otherwise. And here's where they maliciously compliance themselves. Probably because they were getting tired of being corrected. They got snooty with this one. We got a very sarcastic response. Oh, it does it? Well, we'll just see what the fire marshal has to say about that. Me and my roommate, upon receiving this message, burst out laughing. But they were serious. They thought they were going to contact the fire marshal. He was going to side with them, and then they could come down hard on us. I don't know what their expectations were when we said, okay, yeah, do that. However, the next morning, there's frantic knocking on our door. There's the landlord and his family looking very concerned with a bag of brand new fire alarms, one for each room. And IIRC even 2 spares. He begged to be let in outside the 24-hour notice and says that it's an emergency. He has to put these alarms up right now. Trying not to laugh, we let them in, and they hurriedly put one in every room, apologizing profusely for the delay, and telling us, if you need anything, don't hesitate to ask. I don't know how that meeting with the fire marshal went, or if they got him or someone at their office, but their attitude painted a pretty clear picture of the ultimate results. They complied meticulously, thinking they'd call our bluff. Whoops. And then first comment is, yeah, the fire marshal doesn't fuck around. When he gives you 24 hours to remedy a problem, he's being very generous, and your consequences can be pretty extreme for missing that deadline. Next comment is, you know they spent the night waiting for daylight, Googling what else the fire marshal is right about, and got no sleep. Next comment, that's exactly the consequences for missing the dead. What exactly are the consequences for missing that deadline? And somebody comments, the fine can be upwards of $50,000 or $100,000, depending on the individual or corporation per fine. Somebody else commented, and each missing alarm is a violation. Window in bedroom won't open, violation. Escape route blocked, violation. It adds up quick. We don't fuck with fire marshals. They will get you. You're a landlord? Okay. Let me call the fire marshal over here and see what you're going to owe. Okay. Next story is another best of Redder updates. I know I said we weren't always going to be doing these, but there's a lot of them, and a lot of them are really, really good. And a lot of them, are not. But we have done a lot of retail ones today too, and Petty Revenge as well. So, best Redder updates. Am I the asshole for making my wife think our son was missing? Original post, February 17th, 2022, so almost 4 years ago. My wife has a horrible habit that I discovered 2 months ago. We were ordering lunch on the Subway app, and I told her to pick the location that has a drive-thru. That way we don't have to go inside and take the baby out of the car just to clip him back in a few minutes later. She told me it's not a big deal to leave the baby in the car. Yes, it is. To run in and pick it up real fast. It's still a big deal. I had no idea she ever did this. I told her I was not comfortable with her leaving him in the car alone, even for a minute. And she told me she's been doing it since he was born, and it's always been fine. That's what all parents say when they accidentally lock their child in a car. Ooh. You're going to come out to your car one day to your window open and your baby not in the car. Ma'am, it's only been a minute. No, it's been 15. I could have sworn it was only a minute. I was just standing at the register. For 15 minutes? And it looks like you got a full cart of groceries. And your child. Yeah? No. She told me she does it to pick up food, run into the post office or pharmacy, etc. I was floored. The post office and the pharmacy is crazy because those can get busy. Ma'am, that's not a minute. And even picking up food at the restaurant, sometimes they have busy hours and get backed up. No, ma'am. No. Nope, we don't do that. I was floored. We don't live in a horrible area, but it's also not super safe either. I told her not to do that again. She told me she never stopped to think about the potential dangers and that she would stop doing it. Well, yesterday, I was driving home from my brother's house. I spotted her car at the gas station near our place. It was parked in a spot up front, not a pump, so I figured she stopped in to grab some snacks, which we like to do. I decided to stop and go in and say hi and get some food, and I pulled in and parked next to her. However, when I got there, I was furious to find our son in his car seat. The car wasn't even locked. Ma'am. Ugh. I don't know what came over me, but in that moment, I decided to take my son and put him into my car. He got a car seat in there too. I then drove to the other side of the gas station parking lot and waited for my wife to come out. It's only gonna be a minute, they say. It took 6 minutes for her to appear. When she saw that he was gone, she looked stunned for a second and then started to frantically look around and cry. I didn't let it go on for long. After this, I saw her pull her phone out, presumably to call 911, and that's when I pulled my car around to her. I parked, got out, walked around to my son's door, and opened it to show him to her. She probably was in there a lot longer. So, It took her 6 minutes from the time you took the kid, put him in your car, probably longer than 6 minutes, because you had to pull in. Okay, you saw her car. You pulled into the gas station. You got out as you parked next to her car. Saw the kid and was just furious and was just like, the door's not even locked, bro. And then, door's not locked. The windows probably aren't cracked, because he didn't say that they were cracked or not. Car wasn't running. Sir. So, he decides, I'm just going to take my son and put him in his car. So that probably took a good 2 or 3 minutes to actually take him out of the car seat and then put him in the other car seat. Close the door, get back in the car, close your door, and pull out and go around to the other side and sit there and wait for her. And by the time you got to the other side, that was 6 minutes. Plus the 2 or 3 minutes that it took you to get the kid out of the car seat, plus the drive up. Plus she was probably in there for a couple minutes before that. I want to say he was in that car seat for 15 minutes, more or less, by himself. And like I said, I don't know if the windows were cracked, if the car was on. It doesn't say it was. If the car was on, that car would have been stolen. So, yeah. Anyways, she looked extremely relieved, but that quickly turned to anger with her asking me why I took him and did that to her. I told her she needed to learn her lesson, and she promised to stop leaving him in the car, and that she was extremely irresponsible. It was so easy for me to pull up and take him. No one else at the gas station even noticed. So if he really was taken, there would have been no help, and it would have been 100% her fault. Agreed. Absolutely. Because they didn't even care to figure out if he was the father. Nobody even batted an eye that he just came over. The car was empty with the child, and he took the kid out. Like I said, it takes a minute to open a car door, unbuckle a child, grab them out, open another car door, put the child in, buckle him up, close the door, get in your car, and drive away. It takes a couple minutes. And nobody stopped him. She was in there for a good 6 minutes afterwards. She didn't even see him, didn't stop him. And she's angry at you? Sir. Nah. She proceeded to call me cruel and psychotic and tried taking our son out of my car into hers. I said no, and that I would be driving him home, and I left. She came home not much later, but ignored me the rest of the day. She acknowledged me today, saying she wanted an apology, and I said absolutely not, and she was the one who should be sorry. She's been guilt-tripping me the rest of the day, saying no mother should experience the fear I put her through. Did I go too far? Am I the asshole? No, absolutely not. No. Because you told her your boundary. And as a mother, she should have been like, okay, I won't do it again. And if she was going in, she said, I'm just going in here for a couple minutes. Or a minute, I'll be right back. Gas stations get busy. Restaurants get busy. Banks get busy. Pharmacies get busy. Things get busy. Post offices get busy. You could be in there for longer than you think you are. And if you don't crack that window or keep the car running, like my mom used to do, for us, there'd be like 3 of us in the back seat after school, and she had to stop off somewhere real fast, like the pharmacy. She'd keep the car running. And the windows cracked a little bit. So we had AC, but we also had a way to talk to people if they asked if we were okay. And the car was still running, so we were good. And then she'd come back out. 5 minutes later, we weren't sitting there for a while, but, you know. Anyways, first comment is, normally, I'm fully against game playing, but this is your child's life. I support your actions. Your wife is being hugely neglectful. Not to mention, it'll be warm soon, and being left in a hot car, even for a few minutes, can be deadly. Not the asshole, and I wouldn't let her take him anywhere unless she apologizes. OP comments back saying, I guess I should clarify that the car was okay, good! The car was running! Oh my god! That was my one problem, was the car running? Hello? Windows cracked? What? I guess I should clarify that the car was running with the air on. I forgot to add that detail and was restricted by character limit, but the car was on. It's a push to start car with a sensor for the key fob so it still stays on and running as long as you're close enough to the vehicle. I didn't see the keys in the car, so she took them inside with her, but didn't lock it. Next comment is, look, OP, let's be honest about the reality of this situation. Your wife has knowingly and intentionally left your infant alone in a vehicle multiple times. At least once, that vehicle was unlocked. You don't know about the other times. I'm honestly shocked no one has called the cops for child endangerment yet, but eventually somebody probably will. When this happens, CPS will probably get involved. You have now documented on the internet that you knew that this was happening. If CPS finds out that you knew and continued letting your wife leave the baby alone in the car, you will both lose custody of the baby. Not the asshole for scaring her. That was the inappropriate and infant-safe way to demonstrate the potential consequences of your wife's actions to her in a hopefully meaningful way. But you will be an asshole if you continue to let this happen. If your wife's attitude about the safety of your child doesn't improve, it doesn't really seem like your wife can be trusted to transport the baby from now on. It might be time to involve some professional help for her if you want to keep your family intact, or it might be time to document what she's doing, take your child, and leave her if you're done with risking it. Yeah. Do you know how many kids die in these kind of situations or are abducted because people steal cars? Hello? Or people want babies and they're just like, mine. Give me, and it's unlocked. Score. Yeah. No. Mm-mm. We don't leave cars unlocked. Sorry. Not even in small towns. OP responded, I've seen several comments like this, so I just want to make it clear that I have absolutely no intention of letting this continue. My son's safety is my top priority and means everything to me. Another comment says, I'm glad to hear this because there's also a side you're not seeing. My former coworker was notorious for doing this. I don't want to bring my baby in, so I'll just run in quick, etc. Everyone told her it wasn't safe. She didn't listen, until one time she was in the store, someone saw the baby in the car and called the police. The baby was taken from them, and CPS was called, and an investigation was opened. Once they determined that she'd done this repeatedly, they determined the child wasn't fit to return. Her husband had to file for divorce and petition the court to get custody of his baby back. It was a huge mess, and it took a long time to settle. Yeah. Cops don't take this shit lightly. Do not leave your babies in cars. Update, February 18th, 2022, the next day. Update on the situation. I sat my wife down this morning and did apologize for the way I went about things, but said I was not sorry for caring about our son's safety and in the moment felt like she needed a huge wake-up call. She apologized for lying and continuing to do this unsafe practice. I asked her why she seemed so casual about what she was doing. Most parents I know, myself included, are on the paranoid side when it comes to their kids. And she's been doing this for so long without seeing an issue. I asked if she thinks she's dealing with some kind of postpartum mental health issue, as I didn't consider this normally. She broke down crying, saying she doesn't know what's wrong with her. She has agreed to seek counseling, and until this is a major change and improvement, I'll be running all errands with my son, or we'll be doing them together, but I told her I cannot trust her anymore to take him places by herself. I mean, you have to do what you have to do. You know. But yeah, that's all she wrote for this one. Almost 4 years in the making. Don't know if the wife actually got help, but yay. Hopefully the wife did get help, because a lot of people don't take lightly to leaving babies in cars, especially with all the people wanting to kidnap children and babies and all that. And the car was still on. They could have taken the car. Granted, if it would have shut off as soon as the key got far away, or he just probably didn't see the key and it was still in the car. And I know what about the push to start cars. I have one. My mom has one, and I take her car places. And one time I was going to use her car after her. She got out of the car and I went into the driver's seat. She still had the key on her person, and she got so far away, the car just starts going beep, 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 and shuts off. So, yeah. Anywho, time for the sad drew off my chest. I sent my boy to school happy. He came home in an urn. Sorry in advance. My boy died. Yes, he was emotional. He was sensitive. But those are not crimes. Just need to get thoughts off my chest. The sadness is forever suffocating, especially in the nights, especially when the world is silent and asleep, especially in festivals when people are happy, and yet despair claws my heart away. My family was happy, now it's broken. The siblings lost a dear brother too. They cried for months. July 29th, 2024, I said my last goodbye to my boy. He went off to school and went through some fact-finding disciplinary process. He supposedly hid a friend's belongings in the garden, God knows what for. His own belongings were taken and hidden before. Previously, he was pushed down the stairs, coming home bleeding, bruised too, singled out to a conference room, questioned by teachers, searched, asked to write a statement, no parents, no counselor. He cried 3 times that day. He did not pull through emotionally. He took his life after school, falling 16 stories down. Just 13 minutes after dismissal. Covered in blood, organs ruptured, 14 fractures, cried in pain. He lay silent in the arms of a passerby pastor who turned him over to check after calling ambulance. He was declared dead an hour later in hospital. I cooked lunch for him. He was late. Hospital called. School called. Rushed down. Dead. Discipline is important, but tears are important too. He was 11 years old. He deserved to live. To be understood more deeply, emotional distress ate him up, too young to properly cope. His teachers told us he appeared okay after his different crying episodes stopped. Cameras captured him crossing a traffic junction. His face was very sad. How I wish we could have been told earlier when he was singled out from class. How I wish we had been told earlier when he cried. How I wish he had been seen by a counselor. How I wish we'd been told to come to school and fetch him home safely. We could have supported everything better. How I wish when we post suggestions for better emotional care in schools to teacher communities, we don't get blamed, our dead child blamed and judged in death. That this is his own problem or ours. I was not seeking blame, simply hope to advise for sensitive ones so that my boy's life was not lost in vain. Teachers are overwhelmed after all, we understand, but emotional care is important too. How I wish this is all a dream, which I will wake up from, that he will return one day, happy and smiling. We still have so many years together unspent. We were supposed to go pet shopping after school. Went to a morgue and cremation instead. So many nights I dreamed of him alive, only to wake up to a deep sinking feeling in my heart, a realization it's all a dream. Why can't the world be kinder, more compassionate, have more empathy for sensitive kids like him? He has good conduct through the years, topped in science and math, helped his friends take care of his siblings, well loved by classmates, introverted, sensitive, yes, but he wasn't a bad egg at all. And yet, all left of our child now is his ashes in his bedroom, his soft toys on his bed, and his memorial blog. It's so unfair, so unfair. The world continues. I can only stand still and cry. Nothing to bring him back. Can only blame myself. Should have brought up a more hard-hearted child instead of a softie he was. He was normally so chill. No one saw it coming. Wrote this post to help relieve the pain, even if it's just a little, for a little while. At least he is heard in death. Thank you all for helping through this difficult journey, even though we're thousands of miles apart from one another. And really, there's no point in blame. Kid is gone. Flaming docs, pointless. I can only pray parents, schools, society can improve and do better for the next child. And a lot of people are giving her condolences and saying they're so sorry. And somebody says, that's fucking tragic, dude. I'm so sorry. I can't even fathom how devastating you and your family must be. I hope none of you have ever have to go through something as painful as this again. Wish you the best, stranger heart. No parent should have to bury their child. or cremate their child. That is sad. Okay. Deep breaths. Next one is from r/made me smile. Let's get some happiness in here. Feel sad for the lady. Take a moment of silence. Okay. If you can be anything, be kind. I had a new guy working for me once in retail who fell asleep a few times during his shift. I had coworkers and customers both tell me they thought he was on drugs because he'd nod off right in the middle of something like that. When I talked to him about it, it turned out he was homeless and he'd been living in his car and had been harassed by cops for sleeping in it. So every night he'd sleep for an hour or two and get up and drive to a new spot, sleep another hour or two, get up and move again. I moved his schedule a bit and had him start parking in our private lot and talk to some other managers to make sure he'd get left there alone there. Only took the kid a few weeks after that to get on top of himself and get a room. Some people just need a little help. This is great. This is what you're talking about. This is what people need when they need a good boss. You know, everybody needs a good boss every now and then. And the last one from Made Me Smile. Guy gets to feel like a kid again instead of being seen as creepy. I live in an apartment complex that has a bunch of little kids. During the original lockdowns, I would go outside and walk around and get out. And one day, one of the kids launched a soccer ball in my direction, and without thinking, I headed the ball back to them, and they said something like, "Whoa, do that again, do it again." And I was hesitant at first because I'm bald, 31 years old, with a large beard, playing with a bunch of little kids. Yeah, that can be considered creepy. I told them, "I'm not sure if your parents would want you playing with a stranger, but you guys have fun." I didn't realize their mom was sitting inside with the window open, watching them, and I hear her yell, "Please kick the ball around with them if you want to. I know you live across the hall. I see you all the time." I proceeded to play soccer with them for about 2 hours and had a blast. Now, every Friday, without fail, a group of kids knock on my door at 6 p.m. because they know I'm off work and want me to play some kind of game with them. We've played freeze tag last Friday. It was dope. I cheated and climbed a tree so they couldn't get me. Makes me feel like a kid again. And it truly is a highlight of my week. The mom also brings me fresh homemade tamales at least every 2 weeks and refused to let me pay for them. All right, that was great. My light just died, so it's telling me this episode is over. It literally just said, "I am done with you, ma'am." That was originally my last story anyways, so it died at a good time, I guess. Let him have his little kid again moment. But yeah. Anyways, so if you had laughed, cried, or screamed, what the heck, at any point during this episode, please like, comment, subscribe, and share this episode, especially if you're on YouTube or Spotify, or if you need my website to comment, please comment at my-site-r19159cx-paulaverse pods, paulaversepods.wix-vibe.com, and leave your comments there. I would love to hear from you. I want this to be a community. I want to hear everybody's voices. I will make sure to read the comments. I will also always respond to your comments because I want to know what you're like. I want to know your thoughts and your opinions because everybody has their own. And I thank you for letting me serve you up the drama and the petty revenge and the happiness and the sad all in one. Thank you guys. Until next time, stay petty, stay curious, and remember, drama can always be found and served here. Bye.